Fitz of Writing.
Welcome to the Fitz of Writing. I'm your host tonight with my co-host Sean. We're doing something a little bit special tonight. I think we're gonna have tell a little ditty about Mike and Diana.
Two Idaho kids writing the best book they can.
So yeah, this one's gonna be a little bit different. Sean and I are kind of sharing the screen. We're gonna talk to some old friends. Mike and I knew each other growing up, as Sean and I did. I've never met his lovely wife before, so this is we've met talking in this before, but never in person. So this is going to be a little bit new for me. Sean, you want to take it from here?
Save you, yes.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Mike and I go way back. Third grade, I believe, is when we became friends. And during junior high, we kind of struck out on a joint writing venture that we're not going to talk about at all.
Fine.
Here. But
please tell us all about it.
I'll cut it out.
I'll cut it out.
Was this the
But,
we don't talk about it.
It's
We
a
don't
fan
talk
fiction,
about
and
it.
he refuses to tell me anything about it.
Have you seen The Bye Bye Man? Don't think it, don't say it. Where the Bye Bye Man comes. Shut the hell up, Ryan. So, we both pretty much started writing right around the same time. I'd say Mike probably got out in front of me and started long before I ever actually decided to put any pen to paper seriously, but we have kept up with each other throughout the writing journeys that we each went through. Diana's been there for a long, long time, and she's very mean to me sometimes, but very nice to Mike, and that's cool.
He's cuter than you.
So you not to just interrupt you there, Sean. So Mike, when did you start writing? You want to tell us kind of like where your story begins?
Yeah, like Sean said, I think it was like either right before or right after 8th grade. I was 14. That was holy crap too long ago. And so yeah, we won't talk much about the joint writing venture. We started writing little things, kind of bouncing off each other. Ideas that we thought were good at the time. They were fun as hell. But I kept writing. Nothing really went very far. A couple tiny projects, but in 2002 is when I finally self-published my first full-length novel, Golden Guard. I'd written little things before that, like a novella that taken down since then. But Golden Guard is the first one I was really the first full-length novel, first of all, and one person I was really truly proud of. I felt like I told the story I really enjoyed and really had fun with. But it took a lot of time in the wings, just kind of building the craft and practicing, trying and failing over and over again until I got something that finally felt worthwhile.
And do you want to give us like just a brief synopsis of Golden Garden for those that don't know?
Sure. Yeah. Golden Guard is kind of small town cozy fantasy set in the Prohibition era about a half giant named Walter who grows up among the normal folk, thinks he's the odd duck out, but tries to protect them for a while from the creatures in the night until he gets sick of it and says, "No, I'm not going to be the big brute dummy anymore. I'm going to go make something of myself," and that proves to be the biggest mistake of his life. Things go downhill really fast, and he has to basically turn around and fix all of his own mistakes while realizing how good he actually had it the whole time.
Sounds good. And then that led you to what was after that?
We. It's so funny to think about like how the second project came to be, because I had like 50 other projects and this wasn't one of them. It just came out of nowhere. Well, not quite nowhere. Diana, I love telling this story because it makes us sound like assholes. Diana and I had read. We were reading these little Christmas romances. We knew they weren't going to be anything special. It's just a little fluffy romance. But we thought there'd be a plot or like any events whatsoever. But like one of them, we got halfway through, and I was on my Kindle. I looked at like 50%, and I was like, nothing has happened.
No, the cat fell asleep.
There was one chapter when so much nothing was happening that like she's like on a plane with her cat, and she puts the cat to sleep, and it wakes up, and she puts it back to sleep, and she wakes up, and it puts it back to sleep, and I'm like, I'm the one who's gonna fall asleep because it's just that's what's happening. And the other one was it had some better potential, but it just sort of the stories weren't very long, but they were fluffy. I'm like, how do you fluff a book that short? So we started saying, well, I could write a better romance novel than that. This would happen. We do this and we do that, and oh crap, this actually sounds interesting. So that led us to actually try our hand at romance. It's the romance aspect kind of pulled back a little bit in the end product, but it's still a major part of the story. It's kind of a contemporary fiction with a heavy romantic element.
So that was your guys' first joint venture, or had you already decided to co-author at that point?
There was another project we'd started to co-author, but we haven't finished it yet. Not even close. But that died with a Dodecon. That was the one where she was giving me some. I had bounced my ideas off her for. We've been married 15 years, so 17 years. How long we've been together?
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I bounced my ideas off her 1,000 times, and at the beginning she was kind of more of just like a sounding board. But as we grew together and she started understanding the craft, she came up with her own ideas. And eventually, she was coming up with like entire world building ideas, and I was like, "You want to just do this together? Because it sounds like if I do this by myself, I'll be stealing at some point." But she's got lots of good ideas.
So Diana, you kind of learned about writing from just kind of sitting by Mike while he was putting his stories together, putting him through the gauntlet, making sure he had answers to any questions somebody might ask, and that just kind of put it together for you and made you want to kind of join in?
A little bit. We also watch a lot of YouTube videos that are like story analysis, why this worked for this movie and why it didn't work for this movie and stuff like that. So we'll sit there and analyze the daylights out of everything. And then I got really good at it. And I was like, hey, but if you did it the way, it'd be better than blah, 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 blah. And he's like,
Any favorite channel?
Oh, what were some of the really good ones, babe?
Back then, I don't know. Now Schaefer Ellis is one.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of like things on animation and rips of Disney movies, things like that. Literature Double is another one.
I'm a partial fan of Hello Future Me. I don't know if you've ever seen
Yes,
that.
yeah. We're partial fans also. That's the best way to describe it. Like we like the videos, but then we like go like a year without watching, and we're like, oh, yes.
Yeah, same here.
Well, then
And
from
she's
there,
watched a
I'm
lot of.
more of Brandon Sanderson. What?
Sean's just like I don't do that. I have nothing to contribute. You get. I did hear you say the name Brandon Sanderson.
So he's got all of his
Look at that rock eyebrow.
He's got his lectures from BYU on YouTube for free, and so you can sit there and watch this whole thing on world building. And dude, they're so good, and he's so nerdy. So it's just like way down to earth, and it doesn't feel like a college lecture. I'm like, oh.
Where would I find that? Where would I find that out?
You just put it in, like on the search bar. You just put Brandon Sanderson lectures. That's it.
The whole
He's
collection.
got a full playlist.
So I'm being a little bit mean. I know. I love to throw that in Sean's face. I bring it up all the time. I love Brandon Sanderson and those videos. I think they're a great tool for anybody that's wanting to start writing.
Agreed.
Sean hates that I keep bringing it up.
I hate that you were talking while Diana was talking, but they'll be on 2 separate audio tracks. I'm just going to mute the shit out of you. Rise completely. Is that gone? Like
You skip the Legend Dragoon fan fiction, so there are things that are past we don't like to talk about, like
Hey,
traumas. And,
Sean,
No,
I noticed
hang
you
on.
missed.
There
You
was
skipped
one
No, he-
gripping character in Rise.
there was.
He sounded
he
handsome. He was fierce. He made a few moral mistakes.
was based on someone I
Right.
knew in life. But I probably should talk about that one though. Rise was a book that it's my first full. Actually, was my first full book that I wrote, but I fell victim to a vanity publisher. They dangled a carrot in front of me, and I bit, and it was a piece of garbage. It was not ready, but they told me it was because they made money off me. So beware of vanity publishers, and if you ever have to buy your own books, like if you get like buying author copies to sell somewhere else, that's one thing. But when you gotta like buy your own books to even get the contract, something's wrong.
Yeah.
It's funny. I've actually ran into a few folks who used hybrid publishers, and whenever I first got out onto the whole author scene, hybrid publishing and vanity publishing seemed synonymous. Two people I've talked to that have used hybrid publishers were actually very, very happy with their experience and like got help editing the book, help with getting the cover and everything like that, all covered by their fee. And I thought that was something I had never paid attention to, because you hear just like, if you have to pay, it's not a good thing. It's not a good way to go. But there are some people who have been very, very happy with the experience.
Yeah, if you're gonna pay and they're providing a service in return, like the cover or the things like that, that makes a lot more sense. In my case, I just paid for the books and they took my money. But I'm still thinking of reworking it. It's kind of those background to the background projects.
So are you guys doing like just exclusive self-publishing from now on, or are you doing like what's your angle of attack as far as getting the book out in physical form?
We have been considering doing traditional publishing for the one we're working on, but we keep going back and forth about how long it's going to be, so that it's going to kind of determine how that works out. Because most publishers don't usually bother with novellas, so we're like, okay, if we can go, maybe.
Yeah, our current one is kind of on it was going to be a lot longer, but we broke it up into multiple books because it was just way too long, and it's too scattered. But now it's almost too small. Like if you look online, there's varying lengths for what a novel should be. Ours is really on the short side, although we've still got to add more stuff to it, so we're not positive. But we've thought about publishing, but traditional publishing. But like I said, we're not sure because kind of like the self-publishing angle too.
You guys have found a lot of success with that so far. It looks like. So I mean, yeah, I've got a lot to say in regards to the publishing, the state of publishing, but like we don't have to dig into that. I will say that I've also kind of had a similar problem when I first started like pushing because I was trying to get something traditionally published, and it was a novella technically, and so like I was getting a lot of disinterest in it because of the length. So I definitely understand that.
It's a tricky length to push to publishers because they're like, oh, but we want to.
Which is funny because I had a novella before all this, Ferryman, which I don't really have anymore, but took it down. But it was actually easier to sell because it's shorter, so it's cheaper. It's a nice little marketing thing, and because it isn't all that long, people are like, oh, I can pour a little time into this and then enjoy it.
Yeah, and some of the great American classics are technically novellas. They don't fall into that length requirement or guide that we have. So
yeah, I've got Of Mice and Men on my. I've got Of Mice and Men on my shelf. It's a great book, but it's really short.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it blows my mind that they just, for whatever reason, they're not selling. They're just not as good as a novel. It's just like, okay, I guess.
But if it tells a whole story, whatever.
Go to the publisher who published your fluff books that you were reading and be like, well, you put that crap out there.
Put my crap out there.
My crap deserves equal treatment.
This is a better grade of crap. All right.
It's less digested.
Yet more digestible. See what I did there?
There's nutrition. There's nutrition to be found.
Writers. Writers being writers. So you guys are now not if I don't know if I'm pushing the conversation a little bit too far, but far ahead. I mean, so you guys are now working, like you've already written something together and you kind of push that out. Now you're kind of working on something else. Is that how I understand it?
What that?
Like 6 something else's.
Oh yeah.
But
we're
one
primarily focusing on one, yeah.
We're
You
working
won't
on
tell
it.
everybody about what you've put out so far, and then we can get into what the one something else that you are feeling like you're close to wrapping up and getting out there.
So we've talked about Golden Guard a bit. Fantasy, that's straight fantasy novel, which interestingly enough, Sean and Ryan, was originally a contemporary, and it was set in our hometown.
I got hometown vibes from that.
Yeah.
Freaking yeah.
But eventually it turned into a fantasy. It was more fun. Di, you want to tell them about the stories we tell?
The Stories We Tell is our contemporary, and it's about 2 authors who hate each other's guts and have to write a book in 40 days.
Oh, Ryan.
Oh, so yeah, you guys found out about me and Sean wanting to write, and you're like, let's write about them real fast. Okay.
Which of you is the pretty girl with family issues?
That would be
It's Ryan.
Of course.
Both said Ryan.
Of course it's me. I'm the pretty one.
I mean, the beard is majestic, right?
Well, thank you, Diane.
Might as well own it.
I appreciate it. Sean's jealous. He tells me all the time.
Green with envy.
Some people have it, John. It's okay that you don't.
I don't know that I want it.
Well, you do. You got beard envy. There's nothing you can do with it. You're diagnosed.
It's in the DSM.
Oh, now you're a doctor too, huh?
Yep. We're gonna have to cut that one.
There's so much we have to cut. And who is this we?
It is. The longer it gets, the more powerful I become. I have to trim it just to keep things in check.
Gosh.
He has to dispose of it in a very special way so that nobody steals his arcane whatever thing.
Yeah, there's a whole ritual. Like blood sacrifice. I mean, I can't get into the details because this is going to go on Facebook. So, you know. But yeah, it's an ordeal. So you guys you're working on you created something called the Tales We Tell. Is that or the Stories We Tell? Stories We Tell. Sorry, I used the word tales, so I was like, that's just me. And that's out now, right?
Yep.
We published it on the day before Election Day.
Okay. How's
Let
it
me
doing?
tell you how well that went.
Very ominous.
It was hard to get attention. It was hard to get attention at that point, but we made it work.
Yeah, I can imagine the marketing behind it was probably a struggle. So what was that experience like? Like working? I guess it was a little bit easier because you guys are married. But you know, tapping into 2 people not liking each other. But you know, what were some of the struggles? What were some of the benefits of working together?
I think just figuring out our process is the biggest struggle. Like how we're going to do it, because 2 people, 1 computer. What do you do? The big thing we do is just sit down every single scene. Excuse me. We planned the whole thing out from the ground up, but every single scene we stopped and said, okay, what exactly do we want happening in each and every scene, rather than one of us just going off and doing our own thing. So that helped us to keep a unified vision. And I think it helped that we've been married for quite some time by that point. I think we've been married like 12, 13 years by the time that happened. So we've been through a lot of stuff and learned how to cooperate, get through the hard times, disagree kindly. So we worked out a lot of those kinks and were able to work together a lot better.
We had to kind of figure out who does the wordsmithing and how to proceed forward, because there are a couple of points where, because Mike was so used to writing on his own, he'd get a really good idea, and I was like,
and I had to learn to slow down.
So I think we only had to have like one conversation where it was like, I feel left out. After that, it was like, okay, we'll just plan every scene. I was like, all right, well, that feels fair. So we did that, and then I do most of the editing on the back end, so we could go through and go, okay, this sentence needs a lot of work. Let's work on that. Stuff like that.
That's what I was getting ready to ask, was like, how would you guys put a book together, like just by virtue of just physically creating it? So do you both take turns like writing out chapters, or is it more just the overall responsibility is shared between different, like the writing is one part, but the sculpting of the plot, the editing, like you said, that those are more like what you guys are shared in?
Mainly because like we'll storyboard together, because Mike found a book that really vibed with him for outlining, and it's very structured, and he was just like, yes, we're gonna follow the structure. And I was like, okay, that works for you, I'm happy. So we'll sit there and, okay, here's the inciting event, and and then we'll plan scene construction from there. And so we just sit there and talk for hours, and it was great. And then he'd take that and say, okay, this scene, this is the whole point, blah, blah, I'm going to write it this way. I'm like, cool, here's my thought.
And then I'll actually do the actual typing on the computer, whip it all up, show it to her. What do you think? Any suggestions? And then she, once the book's fully written, she is kind of more in charge of we edit as we go, but she does most of the editing. She did a lot better. She did formatting way better than I did. And she's also better at the marketing part. She's better at social media.
So it is kind of like a whole, like a well-rounded unit between the two of you. You know, no one's holding like too much responsibility. You guys kind of like share each other's, like, you know, where one's weak and the other one kind of supplements that, and the other one, you know, where they're strong supplements the other. Yeah, so I mean that's a good strategy.
One thing that I wanted to make sure that we asked you guys about, since you have been doing this co-authoring for some time, Ryan and I are considering, you know, it's funny you mentioned two people who can't stand each other writing books together. We have an idea that we're sitting on that we were considering co-authoring, not necessarily chapter by chapter, but more point of view by point of view, in a sort of Jekyll and Hyde type scenario. We don't have much time, well, really any time spent like writing together or putting a plot together, and we have very different writing styles, so we thought that might be a really nice way to kind of portray the Jekyll and the Hyde, not inherently, but, you know, just the gist of the personalities, one good, one bad, and everything. And we were going to ask you guys for some do's and don'ts of co-authoring.
Here's one. Do agree on a process, because like Diana said, we got a little outline that we agree on, and so that helps us focus it and see, okay, here's how we're gonna do it. Or like you said, if you guys have agreed to one person do this point of view, one person do that point of view, that's a process. That's a way you're gonna merge the styles in a helpful way. Do keep in contact. Constant communication is what we need.
This isn't gonna work, Ryan.
As soon as he said it, I was like, well, there's our downfall. John doesn't want to talk to me.
Ever. Well, we tried.
We gave it our best.
They pull it together, it's fine. It just won't sell.
Yeah, I think if we're gonna just kind of like workshop some stuff here on the fly, I don't know if you want to or not, but I think if we were gonna do it, we would probably need to find like a third party editor. Because Sean and I, not only do we have like vastly different writing styles, but we also have like very different editing sensibilities. And I certainly don't want to take my like how I edit my stuff and go do that to Sean, because I don't want him to feel like I'm changing his stuff because I think it's what it needs or whatever. And I probably wouldn't want him to do the same to my stuff. So I think if we were to do it, we would have to find a mediator in the middle to just look at everything together instead of us trying.
I'd have to have two.
Yeah, let's just keep adding more people to the mix.
Yeah. Well, it's not
Book
a
by
bad idea
community.
having that's not a bad idea having a third person kind of unifying the thing through things like editing. Any other do's and don'ts, Di, that you can think of?
I would advise against pantsing, where
Oh my
you
gosh, yeah.
write willy-nilly without knowing where you're going. I feel like that would be a terrible idea.
I cannot do that. I
Neither
cannot
can
do
I.
that.
I need some sort, like a loose structure. I don't need it quite as detailed as Mike does. Like, he'll sit there and have full sentences in his outline, and I'm like, I'm getting hives.
I feel attacked.
Gandalf the smug over there. Yes, just sitting there for once in the minority.
If you haven't yet, go find Bleeding the Divine by Sean Fitzgerald on Amazon. It's a great read. He'd love to hear your feedback.
I'm gonna come over tonight and shave your beard.
Not my
I'm gonna
strength.
leave you with
And so you guys, I'm just gonna jump back in. You guys what are you currently working on together? Or do you want to talk about that? I don't know if you want to.
Oh, we do.
Okay.
You're good.
Good. Yeah, we want to hear it.
Do you want to do that?
You say it better.
We're writing a rom-com about a vampire who owns a Dungeons and Dragons bar.
Right.
Not called that, of course, because we talked to D&D and they said no. Off.
Oh, they wouldn't let you use the
No, they flat out would not let us.
No, I
was like-
emailed their legal department and they were like, "We're not going to allow you to do that." And I was like,
and it's not like it's a huge plot point. It's like they're playing a game and stuff happens. Like, okay, it's not like we're trying to steal their assets. But we're just gonna generalize it, make up our own game, which we'll work on.
You
But
should make
yeah,
it
it's a
mazes and monsters.
yeah.
but we
Eminem.
but we it's like the idea that vampires, centuries old, but likes the callbacks to the old fantasy flavor, and then actual fantasy stuff starts happening around him.
Oh wait, so he's a vampire that's just like, I'm into fantasy role play games, and then like real fantasy. That's okay. I can get behind that. I like that. That's a good. That's kind of fun.
So much fun. He paints minis and he talks to the minis, and they talk back.
Well,
You have,
I do the first
thick
part.
Transylvanian accent.
No.
No,
I
he
think
should
first
like get insulted when someone tries that crap. But one of the key points is this human girl finds out what he is, and it just fanboys him, like to the point of stalking. So it leads to a lot of comedy.
That sounds fun. And how long have you guys been working on that one so far?
It's been a little while now. Yeah.
How long have you been working on it? Yeah. Just
Well, what sucks is in September or over the summer we finished the version and put it out to beta readers, and we got a lot of good feedback, but also a lot of similar concerns about certain things that were kind of choppily put together and certain other things that just didn't quite work the way we wanted them to. So we reworked it over and over and over. Like we sent them draft 2, and now we're on draft 7. And so I numbered them. I've been watching this train wreck in slow mo. But I'm very happy because
the utter despair.
Yeah, but actually, it's funny. This latest one has got the joy back in it, so it's a lot more fun again. Because one or two people one of our beta readers suggested, it kind of feels like multiple books in one. And I was like, they're not wrong. I was I remember I was taking an entire chunk that I was going to cut out of the book and just kind of like see if I could like take pieces, and I realized, oh, that's book length. This could be its own thing.
Wasn't it like 55,000 words?
Like 55,000 words by itself. I was like, wow, yeah, this book was too long.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean,
It was.
and that's the part you were removing.
Yeah, but then we decided, wait, if we just tell its own story, it's practically a complete story as it is. So that's just like book one of their adventures.
So this is the one that you guys are kind of chopping up into novellas, shorter stories, and everything. Ideal. Do you have any idea about how many stories you're going to have all in all when this is finished? Because your overall plot is complete, right?
Yeah.
You have your beginning, middle, and end.
For the first story, yeah. At least three. The main story is split into 3 books. Also, at least 2 follow-up stories. So we're kind of making just a series. We got 5 ish planned. I got a 6th in my head. We've talked about it just vaguely.
Why haven't you been telling me what's in your head? I need to know all the books that you're planning on writing. I do have a question regarding your process with the beta readers. Is that like, so you guys wrote it, you submitted it, and they gave you feedback, and then you're up to 7 editions of the entirety, or just what you sent them?
We sent them, what was it, draft 2 or 3?
Like draft 2 or 3, yeah.
Of the entire piece.
Yeah.
So, and then from there, we were still kind of sort of reworking it while they were reading it. We gave them way too long. That was my own fault.
Okay, we started seeing flaws ourselves. We're like,
Yeah.
But yeah, usually what we do is we get a finished draft together, and that's why there's been so many drafts. We never actually, like drafts 4, 5, 6, we never actually finished. We got to a certain point and said, this sucks, let's try again. When we actually finish a draft, then we send it off to beta readers and say, what do you guys think? Well, actually, sorry. First, we kind of like give it a week or 2 and like leave it alone, then come back and look at it again. And if we still like it, we send it to beta readers, get their feedback. And if they like with Golden Guard and with Stories We Tell, they liked it enough. They're just like minor, tiny things people suggested. So we just incorporated a few updates, and then we're ready to publish it. This one we had to go back to the drawing board. So we may need to send it to betas again when this particular version is done. Because sorry, I'm thinking a smaller group this time. We had a much larger group, and that was too much. A smaller group of people who know us and know our style. Just because the beta readers haven't read this story, not this version.
That was going to lead me to my next quick follow-up. Sorry, Sean, if you had a question in between there. I was just wondering, like, what size pool are you guys using for beta readers when you do send stuff?
This time around, we had over 30 people sign up. And looking back, I wish I had been more choosy about who got it. Because, like, most people gave us pretty solid feedback, and, like, this worked for me, this didn't, that kind of thing. But I think next time I'd like to condense it to people that I know will give us good feedback.
Meaning, like, there's some people who, like, they just don't read this type of book. And so, like, when they give feedback, it's like, well, you hate this book anyway. You hate this genre anyway, so what are we going to say?
Well, funny thing was, we did have one person who was like, I don't read this kind of thing. I really enjoyed it. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, okay. Well, that was cool.
But also, you don't want to wait forever. Oh, that was the other thing. We gave him, like, 3 months. That was an accident. It was an accident that we stuck to. It should have been a month, maybe 2. Because if they're going to read it, they're going to read it. Because giving it longer did not make more people reply. The first book, I did like 20 people, maybe less.
I don't remember. And we didn't have a ton for Stories We Tell either.
No.
It was maybe 15.
All we're looking for is people just to give their honest feedback. We don't need a huge swath of reviews.
Yeah.
I don't think conversation with anybody from any of the videos I've seen so far. We've talked to anybody about that whole process. So it really just brings up the question that you guys can answer, like, how do you go farming for beta readers? Where do you where do you have a pool so deep that you can pull 30 beta readers from?
So we found a platform, like a social media platform that really worked for us, because for a while we were like, oh, we'll try Facebook because that's where everybody is. It's where all the older generation is. So that didn't work for us at all. I tried Instagram for a while, and that's okay. But then they introduced Threads, and it's like Twitter, but less awful. And so we found a really good group of writers that we can all vibe with pretty well. And so a lot of them
and other
were
people.
like, hey, I'll read that. And I was like, cool.
And do you guys like keep the kind of the contacts of the people that you feel like are giving you like the best feedback that you're looking for?
Yeah, what we do is just do a Google form. It's really simple. You just first you get one saying, hey, do you read this type of book? Does this plot sound interesting? Can you actually commit to the time frame? Yes or no? We kind of pull from that. But then when everybody's done, we send them another Google form that has like, what'd you think of this character? What'd you think of that character? Blah blah blah, and that kind of keeps all the responses together, so you can kind of get a value of like, this many people gave it 5-star review, this many people gave it a 3-star review, whatever.
Because like when we did beta feedback for Golden Guard, it was just, okay, email us when you're done.
Yeah.
And
I was in that pool.
Oh,
Yep.
cool. Because Mike was so overwhelmed with it. He goes, can you just compile what they sent, and then I won't have a panic attack?
Because it was just,
I can do that.
because it was just a huge bunch of text, and I was like, I gotta read a novel to understand my novel.
It was so bad. So seriously.
But the Google forms worked a lot better.
We're like, hey, Google form, because that way it'll say, okay, this percentage of people said it was a 3-star, book, whatever, and then this percent of people were like, wow, I hated this character, blah blah blah.
And you can also add people in there, like friends and family who are willing to read. Then you can just send them the email too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Well,
never
it
used
might
it
have been-
before.
I called you.
Yes.
Smart man. I appreciate you not adding to my workload.
I think I emailed him, but it was like,
I got his number.
I know the guy. I'm kind of a big deal.
He'll answer my call. That's true.
How'd you get this number?
Who is this?
Right?
Sean? Shane? You said?
Right. Never heard of him. Mike and Diana. We appreciate you guys getting on and everything. For everybody who wants to keep up with you guys while you keep doing this co-authoring thing, where you mentioned earlier Threads. So you're active on Instagram. Where else do you guys post your stuff? Where can people follow you? Spit all that out there. We're gonna put the links and everything in the description below.
So we're MD Blaylock author on Instagram and Threads. And I guess the only other place to find us would be the website. And that's just mdblaylockauthor.com.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the best places. Yeah, Threads and Instagram are the only ones we're really kind of focusing on. Website's got everything. It's got our blogs, our social media, our books, upcoming stuff, and links to all the stuff. The what is it?
You can get signed copies.
Signed copies, paperbacks, ebooks. Or you can just go to Amazon, type in our names and cross your fingers. But website's a better link.
Well, I'll put a link to the stories we tell on Amazon in the description as well for anybody who wants to just wonder what the day-to-day life between me and Ryan is like.
Miserable.
For you, I enjoy being mean. Hating you makes me feel fuzzy.
Of course it does. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
know what's funny, Sean? We always put a curmudgeon somewhere in one of our stories, and I think that's your fault.
You're welcome.
I think he should be. You ever read Stephen King and how he has like a character that kind of moves from story to story, and he eventually like created an overall universe with that person. I feel like you guys should do that, but it should be Sean, and it's just like a homeless man who's mad all the time. He's like, "Man, my name is Sean," and then he just keeps bouncing from universe to universe, just saying that exact thing.
He's
Should I be green and live in a trash can?
No, that'd be
Should be.
character infringement. I do want to tell everyone to check out our Facebook page. Every Tuesday, we release Teletales. It's a writing prompt that I get really invested into, and I love doing them. I invite MD Blaylock, the entity, to participate. It's a real simple thing. I find an image online, something that kind of stokes a story that I kind of see, and I tell the story that I'm looking at, and then I invite everyone that is reading it to do the same. Tell me the story that you see when you look at the image. They can be anything. It can be poetry, just dialogue between two characters, lore dump, just a prose of narrative. It doesn't matter. Whatever comes to mind when you look at it, just put it in the comments. I love to read them. I love to see what your guys' perspective of this image is. Even if it's a fantasy thing, your story doesn't have to be fantasy. So don't feel like locked in just because I put a particular thing out there. But we release those every Tuesday. Every episode, new episodes are coming out every Wednesday. Sean, is there anything else coming down the pipeline that we need to bring some attention to?
No, please just like, subscribe, comment if there is a question that you have about Mike and Diana's process, or how they feel about a certain aspect of writing, or how they divvy up anything we didn't touch on. Ask it in the comments. They'll keep an eye on the video and answer to the best of their ability.
Well, I enjoyed my time talking to you guys. Diana, it was nice meeting you. Mike, it's been awesome talking to you from, not talking to you for so long.
Yeah, you too.
So, it's cool. I enjoyed our time together.
Yeah, this is good. It was a good time. Good. Feeling like I'd regressed a few years.
Yeah, it is weird.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's all Sean's fault.
No, it was a lot of fun. Appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love having you guys on. I definitely want to have you back whenever you guys get things going with the. Do you have a title yet for what you're working on now?
The working title is Isaac and Addie. We're not positive we're gonna keep it, but those are the characters' names. I'm kind of thinking we should. We'll talk more, but we'll finalize it.
There's more of that co-authoring process.
Yep.
Yeah. Now we just go off screen and get in the boxing ring and decide who's correct.
And then after you lose, what do you do?
I think it's implied there, Ryan.
I jump on Amazon and change the name behind her back.
Oh, that's good.
And I hide. Why do you think we're on separate computers right now? You'll never find me.
Our house has 5 rooms. I'm gonna find you.
No.
Oh man,
we might not have spent enough time on that whole two authors not liking each other.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
It sounded like that was kind of like a therapy session in real time.
Been good for all of us.
Yeah. That's what it really is. Just two authors working this stuff. Well, actually, in the book, it kind of is what's happening.
Yeah, I don't think that's what's gonna happen with me and Sean.
Just don't eat Fruit Loops while you're doing it, and you're good.
Yeah,
You
Sean.
to get that reference.
You have to read the book to get that reference.
I've read the book.
That's
I know.
it.
So
That's what we should do. Is like make obscure references. Now you have to read the book if you understand what the heck we're talking about.
All right. You heard it. Read the book, or you'll never understand Fruit Loops. And with that,
Fade to black.